We're in beautiful San Diego, California to test drive the all-new 2023 5th generation Toyota Prius. I have a special guest with me. I have Matt Moran from Matt Moran Motoring, legend out there on YouTube, big inspiration for me. And he's going to be out here with us today for the test drive, and he's going to share his impressions alongside mine.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
Of course, it's an absolute pleasure. And Matt and I just drove the previous Prius, the 4th generation, and we got crazy fuel economy, and now we're taking the same drive with the new one to kind of compare and contrast fuel economy. Fuel economy on this vehicle, this is a front wheel drive limited. It's probably around, like, what did they say, 54 miles per gallon?
Yeah, 54 is what they're saying here.
Okay, and then you can get it on all-wheel drive, and that's going to go down to probably around 49, 50, something like that.
Actually, this one says 52.
52.
So,
you know, you can if you can always stretch that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. 52, 54. Who's comparing?
Yeah.
But the greatest thing about the Prius is essentially the carrying over with this new generation of the efficiency of the last gen, but you have way more power. Yeah. So we're going from a 1.8 liter to the 2 liter. So we got a big upgrade there, and then we also have a new electric motor up front with a massive horsepower increase as well. So we have 60% more power here. This has 194 horsepower. If you get the all-wheel drive, it gets 196. And we can't really talk too much about the Prime. It's not here at this event. You guys will have to come back in a couple months. I'm hearing springtime for the Prime. Yeah. So Matt, what do you think about the design of the new Prius?
I love it. I think it looks super cool. I've never been a Prius fan in the past. It's not really my thing typically, but yeah. This new one, I'm actually excited about. I think it looks great. The performance seems really promising. And I mean, I think this windshield really is the thing that stands out to me the most. It's so flat and it's so dramatic. I feel like it's the same like rake as like a C8 Corvette or something with just how aggressively raked it is.
This is the first time I'm getting in the gas here. Yeah, it's definitely, it almost feels like a RAV4 in terms of peppiness. And the 0 to 60 on this one is like 7.4 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 7.2, right? And then all-wheel drive 7 seconds.
Oh, it's even better.
It's even faster. Yeah.
Holy smokes! Now we'll try to do a 0 to 60 at some point today, but you know these roads really don't lend themselves to rattle off 0 to 60. So we're gonna put it into sport, torque brake, and go. Oh yeah, she boogies like no other Prius before. That about 7 flat, 7.06, 0 to 60 there, and this thing can scoot. We're in one of 3 trim levels. This is the limited, so we have like heated and ventilated seats. We have the double sunroof. We have this one does not have a digital rear view mirror, but that is an option, as well as like the 360 camera is an option on the limited. This comes standard with the JBL sound system, 8 speakers versus I think 6 speakers in the normal Prius. What's it saying for MSRP? We can finally share prices now.
This one is $35,560.
$35,560, and so the Prius, which used to be, you know, the entry level into the hybrids for Toyota, is now a little bit more upscale because of the Corolla hybrid. So if thriftiness is the only thing on your mind, then the Corolla hybrid's probably the way to go, because you get that for like 22, 23K.
Right.
But this is for someone, and Toyota even said this at our like little demonstration today. This is for someone who wants power, efficiency, and a good-looking car. Yeah. Not that the Corolla's ugly, but this is definitely turning heads.
And way more power too.
Yeah, so much more power. But even though the new 2023 Corolla hybrid did get a nice upgrade, and there's a big competitor to this vehicle. That is the Kia Niro. The new generation looks a lot more striking than that one. That vehicle has more cargo capacity than this. This has gone down in cargo capacity compared to the last generation. It's got about 20 cubic feet of space in the cargo. So practicality, the Prius has gone down in practicality, but it now has sex appeal for the first time ever, and it's crazy that we're even saying that on a Prius. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you would have told me 5 years ago we'd be talking about this kind of stuff with a Prius, I would have laughed at you, you know? Like, yeah. It's crazy.
It is. This has 19-inch wheels, bringing in a little bit of that curb appeal. Just going over some rough bumps, it does feel a little bit rougher than the 4th gen we were just in with, like, what, that has 17s or something. You can still get 17s on the base LE grade, and that's going to give you the best fuel economy, up to 57 miles per gallon, but you're going to miss some features on it for sure. With the new Prius, we have a little bit of what I feel like is the BZ4X going on. We have a large screen right here, and then we have a 7-inch MID behind the steering wheel. And you're not looking through the steering wheel to look at the information. You actually look above. So it's almost like where a heads-up display would be if you had one. But the Prius doesn't have that option anymore because it just doesn't need it, because this screen is literally, it connects to the windshield in terms of my visibility. So it's super practical. What's not super practical though is the reduction of rear visibility. They've taken out the double screen, or the double windshield back there, and you just have a tiny sliver. So you have this big rear mirror, and maybe a half of it's taken up with the rear window. So maybe getting the camera rearview mirror is going to be a little more appealing than it might initially seem.
You know,
exactly. And that's unfortunately only available as an option on the limited grade. So you're going to be paying more than $35K to get that 360 camera with the digital rearview mirror.
Yeah.
This lane was merging there, and I didn't know because I don't know this area very well. And the pickup there was immediate and a little bit surprising, given we're in a Prius. Here's a question for you, Matt. Would you take this over the Kia Niro?
I haven't driven the new Niro.
Neither have I.
So I can't say definitively, but you know, I mean, I think they're going to appeal to different people. If you want the most practicality, I think the Niro is probably going to be the better way to go.
Sure. And I think you can get more features for the money. The Koreans are really good with that.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not really giving up much fuel economy either. I think they're what, right, 53 for a regular Niro or something like that.
Yeah, they're going to be about the same.
Yeah,
fuel economy. It's a wash in my opinion.
You know, and it also has come down to, you know, personal preference as far as, you know, that has, I believe, a dual clutch real automatic versus CVT. You know, there's some things that has, you know, a turbocharged engine, I believe, you know, combined with their hybrid thing. So, you know, I mean, personally, I think this looks a lot cooler. I don't need the maximum amount of practicality, so I would probably go Prius.
This has more power than I think the Niro. This thing would dust it in a race.
Yeah.
And you can get it in all-wheel drive. It's crazy that you can't get the Niro in all-wheel drive. I think the Prius is going to bring a lot of buyers back. And we have Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 with all sorts of new technology in here. It just slowed down the vehicle for me, which I don't like, and I disabled it. You also had an RX recently, the 500H, that has that technology too. It's pretty easy to disable through the menu here. I'm not going to do it while I'm driving, but it's kind of like that predictive drive that brakes, and it's like, wait, what's going on? It's really a
little unsettling.
It's unsettling for sure. Pedal down there going uphill. Acceleration's good, of course. It is a bit drony, so don't expect this to be like Lexus quality in terms of like sound suppression or anything like that. There are 6 paint colors for America for the exterior. Unfortunately, we don't get the yellow, which was my favorite one in the press release from Japan. And then on the interior, you have Softex on XLE and Limited, which is kind of like their synthetic leather. Cloth is on the LE. And then you can also have your choice between black and gray. This is the first time I've seen the gray interior here. It's kind of a dark gray on the doors, and a very dark dash area with that, you know, ambient light running through. It's not customizable, I don't believe. I think it's just blue on here, as well as on the XLE model. I don't think the base LE has this cool LED strip.
I really like that they added ambient lighting though. I think it looks cool and kind of gives it a little bit more visual appeal than just, you know, a sea of plastic.
Totally, and I like how they gave a cool little copper design here. It's not like piano black plastic like we have in the middle here. Yeah, we also have a wireless charger that's almost like the phone sits sideways vertically. It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't think I've seen a charger like that. Have you?
No, I don't think so. I think there's maybe some others that'll do something similar to that in the center console, but never out in the open.
I like it.
It's a very good idea from a space perspective though, because you don't have to take up, you know, a huge charging mat. You know, you have, you know, a little bit more of a compact design for that. But I'd be curious to see, maybe I should test it out and see how it actually charges. So, I've never had great luck with wireless chargers in general. Okay, now it's green, so you got to push it further.
Oh, now it's blinking, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool feature like on the spec sheet, but I feel like a lot of times you're better off just plugging in if you actually want reliable charging.
And speaking of plugging in, you have 6 USB-Cs in here. You don't even have capacity for 6 people. So yeah, USB-Cs everywhere, 2 up front, 2 in the armrest. Let's try to get in the brakes here. A little whine from the electric motor slowing down that I don't remember hearing on the 4th gen. Sounds good. The brakes feel good. It's not like a performance car or anything, but nice and predictable.
Yeah.
In terms of like ergonomics in here, I like the steering wheel. I like all the physical buttons. I like having toggles here for your heated ventilated seats, simple switches, no rotary dials, which are nice and pretty practical, but I feel like I don't have any frustrations with this. This is very simple, minimal, pleasing to the eye. Unfortunately, piano black around here, like I mentioned before, but essentially every vehicle has it, I feel like, in somewhere in it. But where my arms rest, it's super comfortable. That's something where like my current Prius, my arms aren't that comfortable. The armrest is too hard on the door, and it's just too low, the armrest. This one feels just right. I don't feel like my shoulders are leaning one way or the other, so I feel like I'm hugged quite well, and the seats are pretty comfortable. They made the bottom cushion larger than ever, and for a tall person, yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. This Lincoln's riding me hard. I'm just like joy driving.
Yeah.
I'm going 35 and a 45.
You're that guy.
Yeah, I'm that Prius right now. Oh gosh, the Stigma remains even with this fast 5th gen. Someone's got to carry that tradition,
right?
of being, you know, that fuel sipper.
Yeah.
But these are some good roads to throw it in, and it feels light. The steering's really soft, but I feel pretty accurate. And we drove the previous Prius before this, like we said, and that was still like surprisingly nimble. Like, you know, they don't
on the smaller wheels and stuff. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. For the battery in here, we have a 0.9 kilowatt hour battery. It's somewhere around 15% more powerful and 15% more compact. So that's a nice upgrade for the new Prius. Now the Prius is wider, longer, and has about 2-inch shorter roofline. Now at 6'1", even with this glass roof, I feel like I have a couple inches to spare. The seat is all the way down. So, but if you have a real long torso, if you're taller than like 6'2", that might be an issue, I guess.
Yeah, I think, you know, because we just were in the old one, and definitely feels a little less airy in here. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Definitely the roof helps, but I think, you know, the windshield being rigged more steeply and everything, you just feel a little more closed in. It's definitely sportier, but yeah, it definitely feels a little tighter. So if you're a larger person, like you said, you know, this is probably not going to feel quite as roomy as the old car.
Yeah, I would agree.
Although legroom is better. So,
especially in the back seat, and it's doing the predictive braking thing right now. My foot's not on the brake.
Wow.
And it's a bit weird, but I guess it's definitely a part of the future, and you have the newest safety systems that Toyota offers on this vehicle. Another safety feature, I guess you can call it a safety feature, on this grade that's available is the advanced park system. And it can park the car for you essentially, but yeah, Matt and I are not that fond of that feature. Have you ever tried it before?
Not in the Toyota system, but I've tried it in a few other companies, and it's just so slow that in real world environments, unless you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no one around, it's usually going to take longer than you doing you know, a half-hearted attempt on your own. You know, it's typically not the greatest, but again, this one might be really fast, but typically just for these systems to recognize the spot and then everything to be just right for the conditions, for them to be like, okay, we're going to take over. By the time you've done all that, everyone's already beeping at you, you know, to like get out of the way. So it's, you know, it's a little tricky, but you know, in a relaxed environment, I think it could be a nice thing. You know, if you're not the best parker out there, you know, the assistance is certainly welcome, but you know, just the speed is usually the issue.
There's a nice white Prius there. I'll flash them. the cool thing about this Prius is it has standard on XLE and limited. It's optional on the base LE grade is the proximity sensors. I feel like that's all you need for a small car.
Yeah.
And you also have a backup camera on here. Like we kind of joked around earlier, if you can't park your own car yourself, maybe you shouldn't be driving. Maybe that's a little harsh, but let's be real. No one lives off of having to use that automatic parking system.
Now you're doing 44 and a 55. You're
well. There's no one behind me. I'm just enjoying the views and trying to think about what to talk about next. But yeah. So when you drive it on the way back, you're going to be mostly downhill, and that's really going to improve our MPGs. Right now I'm getting 38, but it's been all uphill, and I've floored it a couple times, so that hasn't been that kind to it. But right now I'm in full EV mode. It even kicked into it while still going maybe slightly uphill a little bit.
Maybe the stronger electric motors helping you out a little bit?
Possibly. Yeah, I feel like the brakes are excellent for this size of vehicle.
Pretty predictive?
Yeah, super predictive. You know, with Toyota's early hybrid systems, you never know what you're going to get because you go from like regen braking to friction brakes. Let's just floor it here. Yeah, it pulls pretty hard to about 45, and then it slows down a little bit after that. But that was impressive. Now we're back into full EV mode, just cruising down the hill, and it is regen braking. So you can see here, topping off that battery. I think this is where we turn though.
Yep.
So, first impressions of the new Prius. It's all about the style and a little bit about the power. I think this is going to bring people back into the Prius market. Can Toyota make enough of them? That's another question altogether with our market, with chip shortages and things of that nature. But I feel like Toyota's done everything they needed to do and more with the new Prius to make it like back into the front, back into the top of the minds of the consumer who want to save a lot on gas and also just want a cool looking vehicle. So Matt, do you have any final words on the new Prius?
I'm just pretty impressed with it as well. So thanks for having me on the video. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming along, and definitely check out Matt's channel. Do you want to do a shout out for your channel?
Sure, yeah, it's Matt Moran Motoring on YouTube and on all the other social stuff, and you know, I do reviews and news as well, and yeah, it's a fun job we have here.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty amazing.
Always fun to cover these new cars.
Cool. Well, signing out from the all-new 2023 5th generation Prius. Thanks for watching.